My name is Jordan Weaver. I'm the host of the Flatbed podcast. There are 650 PRCA rodeos per year across the U.S. The Rodeo Destination Project is designed to give you the VIP tour, the behind the scenes, to personally introduce you to the rodeos and the towns that hold the heart of rural America. We'll do this by introducing you to the greatest destinations, helping you plan your travel, helping you understand how a vacation can circulate around small towns with people just like yourself. This week, we're taking you to Prineville, Oregon. The Crooked River Roundup is one of 3 PRCA rodeos that utilize the lane in the timed events, but that's the only one that's located in the tourist heart of the Northwest. And the Crooked River Roundup is personally inviting you to come meet them, tour the town, make friends, and be a part of the community. Our host is going to be a man named Steve Holliday, a business owner who grew up in Prineville, who understands the people, who understands the culture, has recently taken over the reins to direct the rodeo committee into the next season of the Crooked River Roundup. I am with Steve Holliday, the newly elected president of Crooked River Roundup. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You guys are on an upswing. This rodeo has taken it to a completely new level in the last several years. What's it feel like to take over something that's already gaining traction and gaining momentum?
It's a big wheel to take. It's a big moving machine. There's a lot of moving parts to it. Overwhelming at times, but you know there's a direction that you're headed. You just want to make sure it stays on course.
So one of the things to me that's unique about Prineville is it's a very reasonable thing that says, I'm going to go to this rodeo, I'm going to invest my time and my vacation time, and I'm going to go see Prineville, I'm going to go experience a unique rodeo. I think it is very achievable to say, and I want to get to know the people there. Like, I want to get to know the businesses and the community. This is such a unique backdrop for a rodeo. It is absolutely in reach that somebody could show up, meet people here, and leave having lifelong friendships and their time spent here. So what we're going to do is we're going to meet people that kind of are the backbone of this rodeo, of this culture, people that you deal with on a daily basis that make Crooked River Roundup what it is. When you step off the plane in Redmond, Oregon, and drop down the grade into Prineville, Oregon, the first thing that you're going to see is the Meadow Lakes Golf Course. We're going to catch up with Zach Lambert to hear all about it. You said that the Cowboys golf a lot here. If somebody were to make Meadow Lakes part of their their destination stop, what are the chances that during those 4 days of the rodeo they're going to bump into somebody with a cowboy hat and belt buckle?
Yeah, very likely. I would say very likely.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing. We think it's a good thing, anyways.
Do you mind showing us around the clubhouse?
Yeah.
Do you guys ever get the elk this low? Do you ever have elk on the course?
We haven't had elk on the course to my knowledge, but
geese, a lot of geese.
There's lots of geese. There's lots of deer.
Okay, let me stop you though, because like from Texas, you're like, man, that's really cool. We're in the mountains, we see geese, but your reaction seemed very different. It was like, oh, those freaking geese.
Well, geese and golf courses are they always go together, but
they're not.
A lot of the golfers love them from a to be able to see them.
Yeah.
But they're messy because they leave a lot
messes.
of they.
It's hard to imagine a whole lot prettier setting, sit and eat and get to see stuff that's not just hot and south and southern and mosquitoes. So.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate it.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
One of the legends in Central Oregon, especially pertaining to the Crooked River Roundup horse races in July, is a man named Doug Smith. So when you think about the crowd, again, when I think about the crowd of people at Prineville, I think it's absolutely reasonable to think that if you come to Prineville from out of state, you've never been here, you've never seen the wildlife, the nature, the atmosphere that you get to see, I think it's completely reasonable to think that you're going to make friends that could be lifelong friends. How would you describe the crowd of people that come check out the races here?
So they're all walks, all makes and models, right?
Yeah.
So when we advertise the races, we don't just advertise on country western stations, we advertise rock and roll. The year we did it, we changed the demographics of our attendees.
Interesting, because it was reaching a whole new model.
It was reached a whole, that was the first time I can remember we had a lot of people with earrings and nose rings and purple hair and pink hair, and it was just totally different. And we probably got 5 or 10 years younger than we'd ever been.
So if somebody's coming to the Crooked River Roundup this year and they are wanting to meet people of influence, they go, okay, they want to get the autograph of the Grand Marshal. Are you going to be wearing your shirt that lets people know you're the guy?
I'm wearing the shirt right now.
Have your pen in your pocket, ready to go. If they go, you're the guy. If I want to get an autograph, just look you up.
Autographs are free, but I'll give them half off.
If you're planning on doing any shopping while you're in Prineville, make Bayberry Lane your first stop. It's a great place that in one stop, you get a sense of what is in Central Oregon, what they have to offer, the fashion, the style, everything you're looking for is at Bayberry Lane. We know where we're standing, but now tell me, where are we? What is this?
So Bayberry Lane, my mom and I opened the shop about 5 years ago. And we just love Prineville and love being a part of the business community here.
So if somebody was gonna make a trip, they said, okay, I'm going to Prineville. I wanna go experience everything that Prineville has to offer during the Crooked River Roundup. This is where they would go to find something that is Central Oregon that they could take back to them wherever they go. When they go home, they've got a little piece of Central Oregon that's represented right here. Is that a good way of saying that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Steve, what do I have to do to maybe commandeer like a Crooked River Roundup? Is this something I got to go through the store for? Is this something I got to go through you for? What's the arrangement on that?
Let me see what I can do.
We'll talk. Who do they ask for if they were to come in here? If somebody were to fly into town and like they're going to come take the tour, who do they ask for when they walk in?
So I'm Casey, and this is my mom, Julie.
Yeah. You guys are naturals.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Oh my God.
One of the more historic locations in a historic town of Prineville is Prineville Menswear. They've been a one-stop shop for men's fashion for decades. If somebody were to walk into Menswear and say, I've never been to a rodeo, I'm going to the rodeo tonight, show me what to wear. Is there somebody that could take them head to toe and have them ready to go?
Sure. Yeah, start with a pair of pre-washed jeans, cinch, Wrangler. Take them over to a shirt. If it's real hot, show them a couple of short sleeve shirts. And then a straw hat, summer, maybe a felt.
Oh, yeah, it can be felt hot weather here at the end of June. There's times that it cool off and be cool.
Yes.
But by the time they walk out, if they'll take advice, by the time they walk out, they're ready to walk across the street, head to the rodeo, and check it out.
Yes.
Awesome. If you want the full Prineville, Oregon experience, Tasty Treat is like no place I've ever been. You genuinely feel like you're stepping back in time to exactly what would have been there 30 years ago. What was your interest in buying this place? When you guys came in, what was your draw to it?
Oh wow, there are several reasons. I mean, as a kid, the swimming pool is over here. We used to come over and have ice cream and French fries after we got done swimming. I mean, that was the thing to do. I can still see Les Schwab sitting on the counter over there eating his strawberry ice cream and just many things. I mean, just that nostalgia for me growing up as a kid.
I think that's an interesting piece of history. You say Les Schwab, and I think people equate that to a business. The name Les Schwab wasn't always a business. It used to be a person.
Correct.
Right here in Prineville. Mm-hmm. Did you guys get to spend time with him growing up?
We did. You know, he was a member at the country club. You always knew when Les was there, the garage door would fly up and here would be the smoking gas golf cart. You knew it was him. You'd see him tee off and away he'd go. And so, yeah, he was a real person. And I mean, that's a huge part of this community. And
here's what I'll say, and I think this is worth noting. Growing up in Fort Worth, they have a cattle drive every day. They have older longhorn steers that are cool looking. They're amazing. And like to see them, it's just something to behold, right? And they walk quietly down the street. You've got a guy that might be a lawyer or a banker or a plumber or electrician. He gets to be a part of the trail ride that day and you get to experience it, right? There's nobody there that's going to be able to say, come by to a border collie and go catch something that's running off. Yeah. It's not designed for that. It's a safe production because you've got tourists. When you come to Prineville, it's not that. You're getting people that do this every single day. They're sitting in the back going, please run off. Please run off. I wish you would. And you got a dog sitting there going, please run off. I'm ready. Just like you're going to get to experience genuine cowboy behavior. Brett, thank you so much. This has been awesome. To me,
thank you guys.
No, I don't have favorites. It's not that. But like this to me, I was hoping this was the kind of atmosphere we could capture. This is perfect.
Especially when you sit.
For over 20 years at the Crooked River Roundup, if you've run an animal out of a timed event shoot, it was Dave Stone Street who put him there. To me, it's people like Dave that make the PRCA what it is, the ties to the community, the volunteers, the heartbeat of a community that allows everybody to have a place to fit in. Dave, would you say that the title of livestock aficionado at the Crooked River Roundup, does that sound right?
Yeah.
How many years have you been here?
Almost 20 years.
How'd you find it?
I just showed up and started volunteering.
I was asking you a minute ago, you've never had a steer run over you in 20 years. You've never been run over one time.
Nope.
Is that because there's no mean steers or because you're so quick?
I'm pretty quick.
You were telling me something about what you got from Trevor and Tuff. What did you get from them when they were here?
I got autographed pictures of them, and I had them framed.
You bet. It's still at your house today?
Yeah.
You bet. So when you think about your year, I know you're in the process of moving the mattress now, but being here in Prineville, what was the thing during the year that you look forward to the most?
Oh, the Crooked River Roundup.
And you've got a job not only at the rodeo, not only are you loading steers and making sure the performances run right, but you're also here during the horse races.
Yep.
And you've got a title there too,
Yep.
right? What do you do for the races?
I run the out gate.
So anybody that comes in, anybody that goes out, goes by Dave Stone Street.
Yeah, it's pretty well. I pretty well much let the horses in over at this gate here. So
you've never been run over by a steer or a calf in 20 years. You ever had a racehorse get you down?
Mm-mm.
Just too quick, just too evasive.
Hmm?
So this year moving to Madras and everything you got going on in your life, you think you'll still be here this year for the rodeo?
Yep.
Be here forever as long as they'll have you?
Mm-hmm. I told Jason Snyder I'm not giving it up.
They say that the Crooked River Roundup is a cowboy's rodeo. Mike Dean is a perfect example of the kind of culture that keeps a place like that true to its roots. When they say that the Crooked River Roundup is a cowboy's rodeo, your average spectator might think, well, I thought all rodeos were cowboys' rodeos, and that's not what I mean. What I mean is the culture of the Crooked River Roundup. It is almost for cowboys by cowboys. It is ingrained into every piece of what goes on here in Prineville. What does that mean to you from the life that you've lived? What does the Crooked River Roundup bring that's different?
Well, you know, you look at everybody that's what started this rodeo, we're all ranchers. Everything we want is Western. You know, whether it's from our ranch bronc riding that we've thrown in here to having the lane now that makes it more like a pasture roping.
This is a good watching rodeo in every single event. The bulldog in here, I've rodeoed my whole life. The bulldog in here terrifies me. I have friends that are in the bulldog and I'm like out back trying to convince them not to do it. Like, you don't have to do this, man. It's not, you know, you've got things to live for. It is a terrifying thing, and yet they get through it and make it look easy. Mike, we're trying to stay on schedule. This has been awesome. What should have been a catastrophic weather event actually turned into one of the most heroic efforts made by a community of Prineville, Crooked River, and the guys at Taylor Northwest that replaced the dirt the day of Slack in 2019. One of the most amazing things I've ever seen in the years of rodeoing happened right here, and it happened almost out of an emergency.
Right.
2019, it rains, and then it rains, and it keeps raining.
Yeah.
You know, it's rodeo. You rodeo in the mud all the time, but
yeah.
This was different. It was like up to horses' knees. It was a dangerous environment.
Yep.
And it's go time. It's the day of the rodeo.
Yep. Yeah, I think we were about an hour into Slack when we first showed up down here. They were kind of waiting on Slack to get going. I don't think they'd ran anything yet, but.
Motivation was that when Jason calls you and says we're in a bind, what triggers you guys to go into action at that point?
I think it's just what you said. I think it's the community. You know, we've all kind of grown up around here. We all know we can call each other when we're in need and come jump in and help. So,
did anybody get in trouble for saying yes?
There was a few red flags that came up, and after the fact, you know.
A few years ago, a guy in a big hat came rolling in from Oklahoma and has completely changed the landscape of rodeo in Central Oregon. What was that conversation like when it's on your pen and paper and you got your notepad and you're walking into the meeting and you're like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna recommend an alley. Describe that moment when you lay it all out there. What was the reception to the idea?
It took a little bit of traction, but ultimately I got with Brandon Beers,
yep,
Sean Santucci, and Blake Knowles. And to be quite honest with you, if you don't have a buy-in from those time folks, and what's the formula that will work,
right?
It's going to require the right players. It's going to require the right dimensions and so forth. So
not to just do it, but to do it correctly.
To do it correctly.
Right, yeah.
And so I drew up some plans, called Chris Horton at Colorado Springs at the PRCA and said, I'd like to pursue this. What do I need to do?
By doing it the way that you've done it, you've been able to move the rodeo to the middle of the arena so there's not a bad seat in the house, but without giving people an unfair advantage in the draw.
That's correct.
You're creating a more even playing field and accomplishing what you set out to accomplish.
Exactly. And I think, to that, even a step further from your world, from a contestant and being in that circle, it's a horsepower deal now.
Yeah.
And so especially in the bulldogging, and I got to be honest, the bulldoggers were the ones that I put some. I felt like I hung my hat a little bit on them, because if you want to get Roman, you want to get Gladiator, you want to jump at 30 mile an hour right here at the 50-yard line. If they don't buy in to a degree, while they love it, I still, every year I listen to those boys when they get done. Man, it's Western.
Jason, you've done an amazing job. It's cool to see. It's cool to get to see, and it's cool to see what Steve's taking and doing, and knowing you guys are still working together on it.
Absolutely.
Wild Ride is the new thing in town. An idea where you can have a brewery that hosts food trucks. It's an interesting location because you can get any type of food based on the kind of food trucks available in the parking lot. Great guys over there. We had a great time. So start at the very beginning. Explain when Wild Ride started. What were they going to try to achieve in the market?
Yeah, we started as a production brewery that's going to focus on distribution, which we distribute throughout Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and Alaska. That wasn't the case right out of the gates. That's grown over the almost 9 years. In Redmond and now in Prineville at our second location, we brew beer, but then the tap rooms, the food truck experience.
So somebody watching that may not know,
yeah,
it is a brewery, but then you guys have created space for food trucks, food carts.
Yep.
Like it is still, in essence, it's still a restaurant option.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you've outsourced the food. You said we're going to focus on what we're going to do with the brewery.
Yeah.
The brewery, but you still get the food experience when you show up.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. There's that value to having both. Certainly. So essentially our kitchens are in 4 trailers out here, 4 food trucks. Right. And what you were saying earlier, it provides variety, it provides choice. You and I, hey, let's go have a beer. Well, I feel like a burger. I feel like tacos. I feel like pizza. You have those.
You got
options.
the market cornered.
Yeah. The rodeo weekend is when we kind of had our grand opening party. We had live music here.
Same thing this year? Live music there this year?
We're not planning on that right now.
Brian, there's a camera. What are you doing? This is where you lie and you say, yes, absolutely.
We're talking about.
If you want me to come sing, I'll come sing. Kelly, what's the worst recommendation for a beer name that was an instant no? She looks right at you. That's exactly what he said. Okay, if we promise we won't use it. Now I'm just curious. I anticipate this. I think there's going to be people that come to Prineville and go, I didn't know these places existed anymore. I thought this was something that was forgotten. I thought this was a process that history had forgotten. And my guess is the people that come here for the first time will also become people that come back the next year to get to experience it, to get to fully live in the experience of what it means to be at the Crooked River Roundup in Prineville, Oregon, take a step back into like God and country, stand up for the national anthem, take our hats off for prayer. The fact that places like this exist in the world has got to be just a breath of fresh air for people.
It is, and it's in Oregon.
Yeah. Despite what it may seem.
Despite what Oregon is.
You come to the right part of Oregon.
You come to the heart of Oregon, and you'll find comfort. It's good.
Absolutely. Steve, thank you for taking the tour. Thanks for taking time introducing us to your town.
Perfect. Glad to do it.
When some people think of vacation, they think of beaches, swimming pools, pina coladas. When we think vacation, we think of rural America, small town values, the national anthem and prayer before an 8 p.m. performance, and a sport that holds the heart of American history. If you or someone you know is on a rodeo committee and you would like to introduce the work that you're doing to bring the greatest sport on earth to the rest of us, contact us at flatbedpodcast.com.